Hi, my name is Selena, and I'm here interviewing today AnnMarie Papa, Vice President, Chief Nursing Officer of Einstein Medical Center, Montgomery. How are you today?
I'm great. How about you?
Awesome. I'm good. Thank you. So please tell us about your career journey to your current position of Chief Nursing Officer of Einstein Medical Center, Montgomery.
I have been a nurse for 40 years. I've always in my entire life wanted to be a nurse. Don't try to do the math when I say 40 years. You know, I started at age 10. When I was a little girl, there was a nurse in our neighborhood named Mrs. Sweeney, and she helped everybody in the whole neighborhood. Everybody went to her, and I said to my mother, I'm going to be a nurse, and I think I was about 5, and from then on, that was it. I started out as a candy striper in a local hospital named Jean's, which is now affiliated with Temple. At that time, it was really a private hospital by the Quakers, and I was a candy striper there pretty much through most of my high school years. At the end of my high school years, I started as a nursing assistant, and what they used to call back then a ward clerk, which would be a ward secretary. Went to nursing school at Villanova, got really wonderful, mentoring from the nurses that were there that told me I needed to go directly for my degree. Because that was in the 70s when there was a lot of discussion about whether you go for a bachelor's or you go for a diploma. And the bachelor's degrees were just kind of coming to their light, and more people felt like they needed to get a diploma. But the nurses that had diplomas that I really trusted pushed me in the direction of getting my bachelor's degree, which probably was the best thing that ever happened for me. I finished my bachelor's degree and worked there full-time night shift. My first job was really floating all over the hospital. So I got the flavor of working in labor and delivery, in the nursery, on the med-surg units, every place but the operating room. That's the only place I've never, ever worked. And then I guess after a year and a half, I went full-time to emergency and trauma. And I stayed in emergency and trauma pretty much up until the mid-90s. And then the chief nursing officer just came in one morning and picked me out of my chair and said, we need you to start the case management program here at Jean's. Oh, no, I'm not starting that. She said, oh, yes, you are. So again, I had a wonderful mentor, Joan Randolph, and I started the case management program up there. And then I started to learn that, taking care of patients is not just the front line, although the front line is still where my heart is and I love. But really, as a leader, you can inform and impact those caregivers on the front line by understanding their practice and bringing to them what they need. So I went from case manager to manager at a hospital called Chestnut Hill, and then I was a director, and then I went to Penn for a while, and I had emergency trauma, ICU, medicine, like pretty much half of the hospital. And I got a phone call from a friend of mine here at Einstein that said the position of the chief nursing officer was opening up here at Einstein Medical Center, Montgomery. And I thought, wow, it's in my neighborhood. It's a community hospital. It's brand new. It's really on the brink of the future. So let me try for that position. And I was very fortunate to be selected, and I have loved every minute of my time here.
That's awesome. That's really good. So in this position, what are some of your major responsibilities?
Well, if you look at the job description, you always have to look at that, right? My major role is to oversee all of the nursing services and any other service that reports to me, and ensure that they are in line with all of the evidence-based practice, their policies, procedures, all of those kinds of regulatory type things. I have to be sure that the budget's okay. I have to be sure that we utilize our resources appropriately. But I think the main piece of my job is really to define nursing practice for Einstein Medical Center Montgomery in conjunction with my chief operating officer. Like, what are the vision that Einstein has? What is our global vision? And how is Einstein Medical Center Montgomery going to meet that? And how is nursing going to contribute to that? And being a visionary leader and a visible leader and being out there and advocating for what nurses and patients need and want, but also staying fiscally responsible. I think that really is the crux of how what would you say? Take my job description and make it what it really is.
Oh, that's awesome.
Actualize it. That's probably the word I'm looking for.
There you go. I like that. So what are some of the major challenges of managing the nursing function of the hospital, and how do you and your team successfully meet those daily challenges?
Well, I guess about 10 years ago, everybody said there was too many nurses. Well, there's a nursing shortage. And the biggest challenge for, I think, nursing across the globe, because most of us chief nursing officers connect, we chat with each other, and we're all struggling with finding staff, and not just finding a warm body staff. You want to find someone that's going to help you drive your mission forward, and is going to be excited and anxious and want to learn and want to contribute and make the rest of their professional career here with us or within the Einstein system. So I think the biggest challenge is really finding the right staff and the right number of staff and mix. One of the other challenges, of course, is always pay and money. People always complain about that. But I think if you provide a really good work environment that people feel challenged, people feel valued and appreciated, and they feel like they have a vested interest in what's going forward and moving forward, then the pay comes in second. And I think if you look at the literature out there, yeah, pay is important, but pay is a short-term piece. The long-term piece really is, can I make a career here? And what is Einstein going to do for me here? You know, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to show up for work. I'm going to, learn. I'm going to take care of patients. I'm going to draw blood. I'm going to do the finances, whatever your role is. But what is Einstein going to do for me, and how am I going to grow? And I think as senior leaders, it's important for us to ensure that that happens for our staff.
That's good. What is the best part of your job?
Oh, I have so many great parts of my job. I think every day something different is going to happen. And most importantly for me is that I can make a difference, a positive impact on somebody's life, no matter what that is. Whether that, when I did emergency and trauma, I saved people's lives. It was fabulous, whatever. Well, I'm not saving lives now, but, well, maybe I am, I don't know. But I think now somebody might have a bad experience. It's unfortunate. Sometimes bad events happen in healthcare. And can you comfort that person, whether it's a nurse, whether it's a respiratory therapist, whether it's a patient or a family? But to me, everybody that I meet makes a difference for me. I think they make me a better person. They make me a better leader. I try to see what I can learn from them, but also what I can do to impact the future. My parents always told me to leave places better than the way I found them. And I've, lived up to that, and I hope I've lived up to that, and I try to do that every day. So I think really the best part of my job is that I can really, really make a difference for somebody, and maybe open a door like somebody did for me, for their career to move forward and go on.
That's good. So this interview is being viewed by a wide audience of healthcare administration students throughout the region. What advice would you give to a student who is preparing for a career in hospital management?
First off, be sure that it's your passion and that you want to do it and that you love people and you want to make a difference for them. But I think to be successful, keep your mind open. Never say, I'm not going to do that. I was going to be a pediatric nurse. That was what I wanted to do when I graduated. I did not want to work in an emergency department in trauma, but I grew to love it. Any opportunity, any door that gets opened for you, walk through it. Take a chance. You never know until you try. Stay positive and upbeat. Connect with everybody. Belong to your professional organization. I think I was very fortunate in my career early in the 70s. I joined the Emergency Nurses Association. And in 2011, I had the opportunity to be national president. And I never thought, who the heck would have thought that would happen? But somebody opened that door for me, and I was able to follow that career path. And they never know when that door is going to open for them, that it's going to take their career into a direction that maybe they never thought that they would go, but it's going to be something that really they love. So I would tell them, don't discount anything, try everything, be upbeat, make great connections, and network.
I agree. I know you would agree that internships and networking are important to getting a start in any profession. What advice can you offer for finding those internships and opportunities for mentoring by senior executives in the greater Philadelphia region? How can a student connect with those opportunities?
Well, in nursing, all of the senior executives, we have a monthly meeting that we kind of just go and put our hair down. When you're in this seat, there's not a whole lot of people that you can go to for mentoring and advice, and nobody knows what it's like till you've done it, kind of. So all of us as chief nursing officers kind of get together and we talk about the struggles and the challenges and the successes, and we share them. I would assume that the same happens with CFOs throughout the network or throughout the Philadelphia region. And I do know that there are a lot of professional organizations. I cannot tell you the value of connecting with your professional organization. I remember as a young girl when I was a brand new nurse, to belong to my organization was $20 for the year. Don't laugh, I only made $5 an hour, so that $20 was a lot of money back then, okay? And I kept thinking, I have other things I can do with this $20. But I had, like I said, wonderful mentors that said, invest in it, invest in it, invest in it. And there's probably every state, I know an emergency nurse, or I know a nurse executive that I can connect with. And that power of that networking within your professional organization is huge. And there's always an opportunity for them to volunteer to be on the education committee, volunteer to do some outreach for somebody. That will get them a name. If they're looking for positions, your grades are absolutely important. It's important that you've done well in school, but it's also important that you're well-rounded, that you really have a portfolio of working in a soup kitchen, see what it's like, working in a daycare center, volunteering in a hospital, in a setting. Do anything that you can do to broaden your career. A lot of what I see in nursing, or they've been in a trade and now they're coming to nursing, and they're really, really very well-rounded professionals. So again, I would just say, any opportunity that you have, take it.
Awesome. That's great information. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.